Hi, I'm poor Smuck on SSI. Remember, life has no meaning, and someday we're all gonna die, so even if you do have a great life, in the end scheme, no one's gonna remember you eventually, just like they're not gonna remember me. So, let's start this video on a positive note. So, my life does really suck, and I have a reason to be embittered, to be angry, to be negative. And rationally, I have every reason to just go kill myself. But you know what? I don't want to kill myself. I want to exist, and I want to keep on going. And I'm getting in the mindset to go to the Y and start exercising. And I have an insurmountable task ahead of me. And my family, there's no nice way to put it. It's basically white trash. Everything, is beyond dysfunctional here. And my parents have a very insidious, cancerous relationship with each other. And I am in constant chronic pain. And the only thing that really helps my pain level is cannabinoids and not dealing with shitty, bad, disgusting weather. And, the pain is constant, and living in New York State is murder on me, and the weather is devastating on me. And I am very socially awkward, and I raised in a very bad environment. It took me a very long time to stop acting like I was ugly and completely unattractive. And the reason why I don't maintain my beard right now is that it's my, quote, Jedi depression beard. And I don't plan on shaving until I leave New York State and get to a place where I can fucking do what I need to do to survive and function. And quite frankly, that's a long shot for me. People act like, oh, you can do whatever you put your mind to. But, the truth is, no, that's not always the case. Life sometimes just ends shittily. I'm not, this is a hyperbolic example, but, God knows there's a lot of people that died in the Holocaust that were like, that most probably didn't want to fucking die, who had positive outlooks on shit. Well, no one want to fucking die that way. That's a stupid thing to say, but you know what I'm saying. That no matter how positive your outlook is, sometimes the world eats you up and spits you out, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the key to success is having obstacles to overcome, but not too many obstacles that you get fucking drowned and killed by them. And SSI is a complete fucking joke. It is nowhere near enough money to survive. And with my health conditions, it's not enough money for me to get to a place where I could be a useful member of society. And right now, unless something changes for me and I get an opportunity or someone comes along who wants to help me, it's going to be an impossible task to get to where I need to go. And I'm not going to give up, but it's not unfair for me to assume that my life is going to go nowhere. Because I am surrounded by people who done nothing with their life. My dad is a delusional wannabe artist who is very mediocre. And even if, regardless of being mediocre, what means to be success, especially in the fine art world, is the ability to network and to, play along, and, to have connections. It's not really about being a good artist, you know, you know, and my dad has no fucking common sense when it comes to that stuff. And my mom has no diagnosed disabilities, but she never worked outside the house, ever. As a kid, and blamed my fucking dad for being a control freak with the fucking money. And won't shut up about how fucking ugly she is. And how her sisters are complete assholes. And her, family was assholes and did shit. And demonstrably, my one aunt is obviously a fucking sociopath. I'm not going to go into details, but she has severe mental illnesses. She's a medical professional, and when my grandfather was in the hospital with his hip replacement, he clearly had a giant skin growth on his face. And instead of actually trying to help him, she went on this insane vendetta against my mom, trying to get her arrested for elder abuse. And being my mom's child, I know my mom's an asshole. But, my one aunt is a completely psychotic bitch who is severely mentally ill and has said really crazy shit to me directly. And I have, firsthand knowledge that she's just a crazy piece of shit. But that's getting off the point. I'm surrounded by people who won't acknowledge reality the way that it is. And I am a very talented person when it comes to media production. I'm very good with photography. But I don't have any resources. And the one person who I thought was going to help me abandoned me. And I can't blame her for what she's done, but I'm completely fucked. And there's, that's not me being a defeatist. Realistically in life, if you don't acknowledge something and you pretend that your situation is something that it's not, you decrease your chances of success. And my situation is beyond horseshit. It's a fucking joke. And, life is bad. Life isn't good. And, I'm insanely depressed. Realistically, I need a helping hand. I need someone to come along and say, this guy deserves fucking help. And this guy has fucking potential. And I'm going to try to get myself out of this situation by myself, but at the end of the day, I'm only human. I can only handle so much. And I have a disease where I'm in constant pain in every square inch of my body. And I'm in a situation where my family acts like I'm still a fucking kid. And my dad is a complete asshole. And there are things about my situation that I'm not going to share. get on YouTube that you'd be like, okay, this person's in chronic pain. This person, is severely dyslexic. This person, has, a lot of obstacles to overcome, and I have other obstacles that are ginormous to overcome that I'm not comfortable because of life experience even being open about these issues. And life is worth living simply because you're alive, and life is awful. Life is disgusting. It's brutal. And if you're an optimist, you're denying reality. But there's a difference between being an optimist and being, a defeatist. And I'm not an optimist, and I am not a defeatist. As long as I have breath in my body, I may wish I didn't exist. I may wish I'd never been born. But I'm going to fight tooth and nail. Regardless of the logic in the fact that, when I die, I cease to exist. Everything that I was, everything that I could be, would just, and as more times pass, everyone will be eventually forgotten. But I don't care about that. I want to be remembered as long as I can be. I have dreams, I have aspirations, and I'm not going to give up. No one should ever give up. And I think, I have every reason to want to kill myself. And I think the difference between people that kill themselves and people that don't, that are in a horrible situation, is something in here. And we can't judge people for being weak. We can't judge people for, ultimately, if I wasn't living with my parents, I couldn't judge my parents for just being complete piece of shit assholes. But you know what? I'm directly impacted by their incompetency. And I do need help. And when I was with my ex, my relationship with her would have been a lot stronger if I felt comfortable getting away from her when I needed to get away from her. And I do have mental problems. I do have my own issues. I'm not a perfect person. I am far from perfect. I am frail. I have frailties. I have neuroses. And, my ex had every reason to leave me. But she's a person that I would want to have in my life, no matter what. I would do anything for this person, regardless of how this person hurt me. When you know you want something, and something's insanely important to you, you will move heaven and earth to get what you want. And the first step for everything is to get out of this hellhole. And I may never get what I want from my ex. Her friendship is one of the most important things in the world to me. And yes, and she knows how I feel about her, and I understand why she feels the way that she does about me, and why I may never get what I want. But I can't give up. I can't give up my dreams. I have a vision. I want to start my own media production company someday. I am severely dyslexic. I cannot read and write. But I have this massive idea in my head for this huge sci-fi series that I want to make someday. And I'll sound like a egotist if I say how big I want this thing to be someday. But this idea is massive. This idea is revolutionary. I'm an insanely smart person. You know, I sound like Donald Trump right now. I'm the smartest, I'm the greatest. But you know, I am very smart. Unlike our dipshit in chief. Oh god, that's unpleasant and embarrassing. But life isn't, you know, most videos are curated. People don't want to show their warts. People don't want to show how pathetic they are. And everyone is pathetic in their own way, and everyone can be gifted. You know, the world is what it is. And it's a harsh place. And it's a cruel place. And it's a world where we want to think it's going to be better than what it is. And you should never give up. And sometimes having an unrealistic outlook on life is the difference between failure and success. But sometimes having an unrealistic outlook on life is failure. And we have to remember that we cannot be unrealistic about our situations. Because sometimes being unrealistic and thinking that you can just do something when you can't means you're gonna die horribly. But my life sucks. It's awful. But I'm not gonna give up.